So we're going to talk about now how narcissists expect you to revolve around them 24/7. Their needs are here. Your needs aren't even on the list, right? And so how they continue to keep you revolving around them is through making you feel sometimes overtly as if you're not enough by criticizing you, or covertly by almost accusing you of not loving them if you're not doing more. Either way, they are training you to stop caring about yourself and to be 100% 24/7 revolving around them. What enabling looks like, again, would be for you to continue to put yourself last, to put their needs first all the time, to the point that you are exhausted. You're running on fumes because you're giving. You're not receiving from them, and you're not receiving from yourself either. And I do want to stress with the examples that I'm giving, I'm not including anyone in a relationship with somebody where their life is on the line or where there's physical danger. Okay, we're really focusing on emotional abuse in these scenarios. And for that reason, I want to talk about how your childhood trauma sets you up for exactly what I'm talking about in this example. Remember the example I gave in the beginning, how a child is willing to amputate parts of their personality to make their parent happy. Because if they are happy, then that means that child is going to be cared for and therefore safe. Well, that's the fawn trauma response. And that fawn trauma response is what is kicking on that is causing you to be willing to put your needs at the bottom and to do everything in your power to make this person happy, because there is this unconscious old belief that if I do not make the other person happy, my life is on the line. And so when we're enabling, we are doing more and more. What you'll find the narcissist doing is doing less and less. They take a step back, you take 2 steps forward, right? Whether it's financially, emotionally, taking care of the house, how much you put into the relationship. By the end, you are doing everything. And then what happens is you notice, right? You're noticing all that you do, but you're also noticing not only that they're not doing, but they're not noticing all that you do. And when they're not noticing and appreciating all that you do, you feel extremely unappreciated. You feel like you have no value, because this is also tied into the first point with the self-perception. Because you're not able to see yourself through your own eyes, because they're not appreciating you, you're not getting anything from them, and again, you're not getting anything from yourself. And sadly, this continues in this cycle of trying to get them to appreciate and see all that you do. So what does immunity look like? Again, it starts with realizing that the narcissist may never appreciate all that you do. No, not that they may never. They will never appreciate what you do, because to appreciate what somebody does is to see value in them. It's to raise them up and realize, wow, this person has value. This person is amazing. And they can't do that because in their head, that means they have to lower themselves to do that. So the first step is realizing that they will never appreciate all that you do. However, you can start filling your own cup. You can start seeing your value. You can start building your self-respect, your self-esteem, your self-confidence. And if you notice, all of those words start with self. In other words, the confidence, the appreciation, the esteem comes from how we see ourselves. Sadly, narcissists teach you that it has to come from them, but that's a lie. When you start learning how to value yourself, to see your worth, then they will still be them. They won't change, right? It's not about getting them to change so that we can be okay. That's the fawn trauma response. In childhood, it's a great strategy. In adulthood, it keeps us stuck. So it's about letting them be them. That's their choice in who they want to be. And starting to realize that you can appreciate and see your worth despite how they are. Now, I know that's a lot easier said than done. That's why I want you to make sure you listen to the end to really understand what's involved in getting to that place. Okay, so let's shift into my favorite part of this video, which is all about Okay, what do we do? Right? That makes sense, Michele. There's a difference between enabling and being immune to narcissists. How do I become immune? So let me share with you 3 tips that can help. Tip number 1 is about upgrading your belief system or your self-image. Narcissists can infiltrate people that have a belief system that can be predisposed to falling for their tactics and getting sucked into relationships with them. That's a huge difference between people that are immune and people that wind up enabling. They have different belief systems. I view narcissists like people that are trying to plant malware in somebody's computer program. They look for weaknesses in the software in order to plant their viruses. Now, a narcissist will do that. They will find people with a belief system that is susceptible to them. So if we change our belief system, then we are helping ourselves to become immune. In other words, it's not about memorizing everything about them and doing our best to avoid them, because that's impossible. But when we change our belief system, we make sure that our subconscious programs, our softwares are not infiltrated by their toxic behaviors. Tip number 2 is about learning how to not personalize what they are doing. Narcissists are going to be narcissists. They're not going to change, but we can change the meaning that we give their behaviors. Now, I remember when I learned this on an intellectual level, right? They call it the observe, don't absorb. And I would be like, I'm going to observe and not absorb. And I would be stifling what I was really feeling and pretending to not let it bother me. That's not real observe, don't absorb. Real observe, don't absorb is really changing the meaning. So the narcissist gives me the silent treatment. It used to mean to me on a subconscious level. I didn't even realize it. When I peeled it back and discovered what I was making it mean, I was almost in shock. But I had made it mean that meant, their behavior meant I was unlovable and I was bad. When I realized that, I was like, what? No, I don't believe that. Now, I'm sharing this with you because a lot of the meanings that you're going to uncover as you're healing are going to surprise you, because they're probably out of alignment with who you really are today, because they were established when you were a child. But the thing is that whatever meanings are stuck in our subconscious, while they're in our subconscious, we can't change them. And so changing the meaning and being able to observe without absorbing is first about learning what meaning you're making it that makes it painful. And once you can do that, now you have a choice. The brain can choose to agree or it can change the meaning. And so the meaning that I chose to make the silent treatment was more in alignment with the adult I was, which was that is unkind, unloving behavior on their part. It had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with the way they handle disappointment. And so because the meaning changed when, not if, when the narcissist gave me the silent treatment, it didn't touch me emotionally because it had nothing to do with me. And I believed that. It was a meaning. It was now a new upgraded subconscious belief in my nervous system. And the last tip that I'm going to mention today has to do with rewiring your nervous system. Because the reality is that if you had narcissistic relationships, whether in childhood or in your adult life or both, your nervous system is rewired to keep you safe. It's wired to keep you surviving, not enjoying life. For example, the things that it is wired to be allowed to do or to feel safe doing are things like isolation, disconnecting, dissociating, being numb, being in a trauma response of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. But when we go to do the things that allow us to live life and be excited and happy and have joy, it feels uncomfortable in our nervous system because the nervous system is not wired to be allowed or to feel allowed to do that. And so there's a whole rewiring process that needs to take place. That being said, I'm giving you these 3 tips, but I want to be realistic. Like, these things take time. Upgrading your beliefs, changing your subconscious programs, learning to embody what you learn through videos takes time and it takes support. That's why I want to remind you from now until the 7th of July, we have a 50% off the School of Transformation, which is a membership where we meet live on Zoom. So you're not left to do the recovery work alone, and you're with an international group of people that are on the same journey. So if you're interested in an affordable yet profound transformational resource, make sure you check out those links.